Hi, girls and boys, if there's any boys sauntering in also. We'll wait here for a few minutes. It's just a little bit early. And see if I can't get a... We'll give it a couple of minutes. Not too many. I'm punching, I'm punching, I'm punching, and punching, and punching, and punching. Hi, Beth. Hi, Teresa. Diana. I feel so like I'm so behind. I only got to watch Janet's stream this morning because I had so much to do. I was out of the house, so I have to catch up. Aw, Beth, that's sweet. Once I get past this week, I'm probably going to have a pretty nice, relaxing holiday. And I say that and just wait and see what happens. It'll end up being busier than ever. I got all my tree and all my decorations up really late this year. Like, I'm still in the process. That's how late. But I'm almost done. So I hope everybody's had a good day, had fun watching the hop and all in between. I miss Cauldron. Yeah, Teresa, it seems like the older I get, the longer it takes me to get them up. It took me one whole day just to get the Christmas tree up, and it's not that much, you know. But sometimes things just take a while. Hi, Kimberly. Riri. Janet Nash. Hi, Janet. I enjoyed your stream this morning. You're the only one I've got to see so far because I was running around all day. So I got a little bit of time. Watched yours because I wanted to watch them in order. Hi, Meri. I'm ready to go whenever y'all are ready. So we'll wait just a few more minutes. So if you're gonna do this, if you decide to do this, you're gonna need a punch, and you're gonna be punching and punching and punching. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. See, I got my glue gun plugged in over here, so it's getting hot. Let's see, did I miss anybody yet? Vanessa, I said, Vanessa. So especially after just hearing Meri talk about how great everything was this morning, I really got to go watch those. I probably won't get till Sunday, though. We got a big full day tomorrow. Hello, Clint. Nice to see you here. All these shiny little people. I got some of my Christmas scrapbook paper. I just love this paper. It's so cute. Okay, I guess I can go ahead and get started. Hi, Ruth. Just take your time, Ruth. Don't wear yourself out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Of course, we all are thinking so much today of lost loved ones, and I'm right there too. 47 years ago today, my mother passed away. So, it's a hard time of year. It's hard anytime, but it's a hard time of year to lose a loved one because it's so close to Christmas and ever after forever. When Christmas comes around, it always brings them to your mind more closely than normal. So it can be bittersweet, but remember to pray for our friends who have lost loved ones during this season, and not just for right now, but for later on, whenever it takes a while to go through the grieving process, and it never really ends. But it does get better, and it helps if you can remember the better times, the good times and the happy times and all the great memories. And um, so let's hope that for all of our friends, because I know there's more than just one today, for all our friends who have lost one loved ones recently, let's hope that for them, that they can get some semblance of normalcy back in their lives. And don't ever I try not to ever say you'll get over it, because you never do. You honestly never do. But you can learn to live with it just like everything else. And the way I think about it is they are starting the first day of their eternal life. And just think of all the things that they're experiencing right now. So that's how I try to think of it. Okay, so anyway, we're going to be celebrating the holidays. Everybody has different holidays that they celebrate. I celebrate Christmas, and it's a very good holiday to me in my heart because of the reason. And we also celebrate New Year's. So those are two things that we celebrate at the holidays in the wintertime. And I enjoy the decorations. I enjoy all of that part of it. I don't enjoy big crowds. So you won't see me out shopping. We did all our shopping already online, and I'm just waiting for everything to come now, and it'll be all done. So that's why the rest of the holiday season for me will be pretty easy. So what I've decided to show you today, I guess I can put this away, is a wreath project that I made last year with using book pages. And here is the finished wreath from last year. I'm going to hold it up a little closer. These are all book pages. It's made from punched out scalloped circles, and they're just glued on to a form. And what I did was I had a form. Here's one that's just started, but this is only half of the form. I sliced it in half this way. So originally it was, a how would you say that? A circular tube, I guess is what it would kind of look like. So I just sliced it right down this way, so I would have a flat back, and I could hang it up and still have another one to use. So like I said, here's the one from last year. Here's the front, here's the side, and here's the back. And underneath here, you can just barely see it, but underneath here is the back of this ring. And I just covered it with some paper with some, cardstock to give it a better, um, make it look a little neater, and to give it a better place to put a hanger. And I just used a command strip that is a Velcro command strip. Now this is not exactly a Christmas. I didn't make it to be a Christmas decoration. I have a really nice size window that hangs on my bedroom wall, and this hangs in the middle of the window. So that's where this stays up all year. And if I want to at Christmas, I can just kind of stick a little bow on it or something, and it'll look Christmassy, but I usually don't do that. So I just took it down to bring it down to show you. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not hard. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can use this technique. Now, I really learned to do this technique when I was in grade school. And I just thought one day that it would really work. Would really work good doing it like this. I'm sure there's other people that do it, but I just thought of it by myself. So let's set this over here. I use a 2-inch punch. I like these punches because my hands are small and they're not real strong, and it's a little bit easier for me to do. Hi, Crafting Mamas, Shelley, I believe it is. Glad to see you here. I hear about you all the time, but I don't think I've met you. So glad you're here, and anybody else who's come in that I don't see. So anyway, I use this 2-inch scallop punch. You could use any size punch you want. If I was going to make something a lot smaller, I could use a smaller punch, and it would just make the ruffles wouldn't stand out as far. So you have to take, however big you're going to make something, you have to take into account how big your form is and how big you really want it to be. So I could make these smaller. It would take more of them. I could use a 1-inch or 1.5-inch punch. I can also use a punch a punch that's not scallop, just a circle. But these seem to work better. I tried it both ways, and it seems to work better with the scallops because they kind of fold up a little bit better. But you could do this using any kind of paper that's thin enough to fold up, because it has to fold up from a circle like this to a squished up little piece like this. So if it's too stiff, it's not going to make a pretty, I guess you can call it a flower, but it'll be too stiff and it won't crumple up well enough. So book pages work really well, and it's a great way to use them up because most of us have a lot of book pages left over if we're making journals and what have you. You can also color them any way that you want to. You can color them before they go on, or you can color them after they're on. And I'm going to show you some examples of the difference in that. But what I was getting at is, if I used a bigger circle than this, it would be taller. It would be, this ruffle would be bigger, depending on how big the circle is. Well, if my ruffle came out, let's look at this one. If my ruffle came in this far and just left a little bitty hole, it wouldn't look as nice. So you kind of have to take that into account. And this one worked out really well. And let me see how big this is, if I can find a ruler. This is it's about 9 3/4. So I'm going to say they probably said it was a 10-inch circle. And the inside is just almost 7 inches. So for this size of form, I'm using a 2-inch punch. So that's what you have to think about first, is your sizes, how your size is going to work. Then once you know what size you're going to have, you have to punch them. So I usually punch 2 pieces of book page at a time. And depending on what size, I keep knocking my glue gun over here. Depending on what size, hi Nana, what size page you have. On this size page, I think I can get 8, so I can get 16 at a time. And you can just, sit and punch a bunch of them until you're tired of punching. Then you can glue a bunch of them on. Excuse me. So I have this goofy cough. Then you could glue a bunch of them on, and when you get tired of gluing a bunch on, then you can go back and punch some more. So you don't have to punch thousands of them at a time, but it does take quite a few. So here I just punch them in stacks like this, or put them in stacks like that. And then when I'm tired of punching, I just set that aside for a bit and I start gluing. Let me see if my glue gun's hot. Yep, it is. So on a wreath, you want to make sure on the inside of the ring that your pieces, that you're gluing them straight, like, straight up and down like this around the inside. If you start gluing them back or front ways or sideways, it's not going to work. It has to be straight with the ring, so it will stand up straight all the way around. And to get it started, I like to do the inside first. Then you can lay it down and start going around above that. And the technique is, you can do it several ways. I usually put the glue on the ring, put the glue on the whatever object I'm doing. If you have a glue pot, it would work really good to do it with the glue pot. But I just do like maybe an inch and a half of glue, not a huge amount, but enough to where you have a glob. And I just, where's my, you can use any kind of tool. You can use a pencil. This one's a little big. I don't have a smaller pencil, but you can use a pencil down inside it, or you can use a paintbrush end. But I like to use my X-Acto knife. I take the blade out, and it has a round top, so that works great. And I just put it in the middle like this, hold it together with my fingers, and stick it in the glue. And when you're starting on the ring, it's a little awkward, and you stick it, the first one you just stick wherever, but you want it to be even with the back. So it's like right even with the back, and just hold it there for a second until it's cool enough to hold it. Yeah, Vanessa, it would. I thought I almost got a heart to show you with, because I had to go get some forms yesterday. And you just keep doing that all the way around. Now, what I do to make it a little faster, well, for one thing, I put a small, let's see if you can see that, a small line of glue, just like an inch or an inch and a half, because it'll cool too fast otherwise. But you want it to cool just a tiny bit, because it'll stick on there better. You won't have to hold it as long. But now if you see this, see how that's starting to stick out this way? You got to watch out for that on this center ring. So I let that stick and then just sort of pull it back and then stick my next one right next to it. So the bottoms of all these little flowers, I guess I'll call them, sit right next to each other. You want to get them right up in next to each other. You don't want to be able to see any of the form between the flowers. Whoops. So see, that had already cooled enough to where it didn't stick. But now you can do it with your hand like this and just stick it on there. But it seems to work better if you actually stick something in there and press on it. Okay, so here's what I do to make it a little faster. You find something, it could be the same thing you use to stick them on with, to push them on with, and you just kind of stick it in the center. Whoops, you can hold on to it. Stick it in the center, fold it down so you can tell it looks pretty evenly folded on there. And then just from the top, just crank it down, just like that. It doesn't matter how neat it is, as long as it's fairly even. You don't want one side to be sticking out farther than the other. And then you just make a pile of those. And then when you get a pile, you start gluing. So that's what I do. I punch, I scrunch, I punch, I scrunch, I bunch, and do like that. So you would go all the way around the inside of the ring, and with all of them like this, and then you would come up next and put the next row right next to this row, and so that as you fill in this ring, it makes it curved, because what you're filling in is curved. So it makes it really nice. This is, I hope you can see how cute it is, because it is absolutely adorable. Just plain like this, it's adorable. And you can, okay, so here's what else you can do. If you want color, if you still want to use book pages or whatever kind of paper, and you want color, you can do it several ways. Here's a ball that I've started. It kind of looks like something with hair on it. Yep, punch, scrunch, and glue. That's about it. So this one, it's done exactly the same way, but I started on this one I started in the center. You want to, it's easy to start in the center on something that's round, because then it's easier to glue around like this and stick them on, instead of trying to, like start in the middle here, and when you get up here to the top, it's really hard to get them in there right. So you want to leave yourself room to glue those in. Now, so this one started, it's the same kind of, I meant to mention, it's the same kind of styrofoam. This is that harder, I'm sure it has a different name, but it's more dense. This is a different styrofoam. That's the kind you're used to, the kind that's kind of porous. This one, see how dense that looks as compared? Both of them work. I think I prefer the dense one better, but they both work. So anyway, this is going to be like a, I think they're called kissing balls or something. But what I did to make it colored is I just used some watercolors. I just used some really wet watercolors and just took my brush, where's my brush, and just did like this over the top. And the edges of the paper, it's pretty porous, so it picked it up really good. See how pretty that is? So that's how I did the color on this one. And this will eventually, it'll have a loop to hang it from. It might have something hanging at the bottom. It'd just be a pretty little decoration. So that's a round one that I started. This one is going to be a tree. So I started it, and I don't even, well, if I hold it up, you can see that barely, you can barely see some green on there. So what I did to color those is I just took a little stack of the circles and lined them up so that all the little, it's pretty easy to do. You just kind of mess around with it and they straighten out by themselves. And then I took a paint pen and I just colored along the edge. And it just, it just gave it a little bit of color. I didn't worry too much about getting all the cracks, but I tried to get a pretty solid line on the edge. So come on, camera. Come on. So anyway, that's what I did for that, and did that all the way around. So then I did that before I scrunched them. So it gives it just a little bit of green. But this was just a cone like this, a little cone. And I took the top, see this one looks rounder. I just took the top and rolled it, you're crunching, rolled it on the table just to kind of compress that down so it will roll up. And then that gives me a little bit more pointed top. So I'm not sure about this. I haven't done one like this yet, but I think once I get up towards the top, I might switch to a little bit smaller circle so that it doesn't look too short and fat. You know what I mean? So it'll make more of a pointy top. I think it's what I'll end up doing. And then I think I'm gonna, instead of using the paint pen, I think I'm going to go back on this one and do it the same way I did the ball with green so that it'll be a little bit more colorful. It's not that colorful. So that's pretty much this project, this particular project. Any questions about it that I can answer? Oh, by the way, I cut this in half with a not a craft knife, one of those little utility knives, that you push up. And just took my time and cut it so that it was fairly even. There's a couple places that are a little bit wonky, like right here, but in the long run, it's not going to make any difference. And when you do this first row on here, it's gonna try to stick out this way. So you can just take, once the glue is dry, you can just take it and sort of push it forward to make sure the back is flat. Or you can wait until after you get even more on there. But the important thing, if you want it to look nice and full like this, just make sure you put them right next to each. The bottoms should be right next to each other. The part where that's glued, and that's only, at the bottom. So, any question about those? You know what? I don't know when my time ends today. Let's see. Because I had something else I was going to show. What time do I end today, Mary? Because my time's a little different. So that was my main project I wanted to show you. It's pretty simple, so it doesn't take a lot to explain. Oh yeah, the other thing that I do, I have a glue bottle that's got a little tip that's kind of, pointed, and has a flat top. It's perfect. I just put them over the top of it, and it can stand up like this. I just put them over the top of it, hold that down, and squish it down, and it's done. It's a lot easier than holding some object in your hand and doing it that way. Same results. 5:25. Okay, good. Okay, I got plenty of time then. Okay, so if there's no questions about that, try it. It is fun to do. It does take a long time. I'm going to guess and say that the whole wreath, start to finish, probably took about 7 hours. And that is kind of a long time, but I really like it. Okay, and then I just wanted to show you, we used to send out, we don't usually send out Christmas cards. I know that sounds odd, but we don't. But we used to send out this kind of greeting. We would pick one design each year. We did it for about 6 years, I think. We'd pick one design each year and cut it out of thin wood. And then I would paint them, and then we would send them in the mail just like this. So the person's to address would be here, and this says Merry Christmas, the Ferrells. And we would, this is one that didn't get sent. This is probably, I don't know, 20 years ago. And this is the only one I have left. And we just send it in the mail just like this. And then there's a hole at the top so they can put a hook in it when they get it. We did this one. We did a nativity scene. Oh my gosh, what did we do? We did a star. I can't even remember. But I know we did it for about 6 years. And that was always a project that was really fun. And I just wanted to share that because I found it when I was going through stuff. And I thought, oh, I got to share that. So he was pretty cute. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, since I have time, and I may be preaching to the choir here, but some people don't know how to make big fluffy bows. Hi, Aunt Beck. So I thought I would show you how to do that because it's pretty quick and it's easy. And I just thought maybe somebody would enjoy that. So that's what I'm going to do here. This is how wide is this ribbon? And this is the kind of bow I'm talking about. This one's a little squashed. But this is the kind of bow I'm talking about. And then you can, put a tail on it or whatever. And these go really pretty. See, I could even use this on this wreath. It's a little big, but it still could work. Or put it at the top like that, But this is I would put a smaller one on here. But this is what I'm talking about. So I hope there's someone who benefit from seeing how to do this. First, I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon. A piece of wire to use in the middle. I hope everybody's getting their holidays in order and got things going on the way they want them to be so far. I just found out today my daughter got a new job, which she's very excited about. And they all tested negative for COVID yesterday because they had been exposed. And so everything's going pretty good family-wise. So here's my wire. It's just about 6 inches long. It could be longer, but that should be enough. And then this ribbon, I didn't finish what I was saying here. This ribbon's 2.5 inches long. It has a wired edge, so when you shape it, yeah, she's really happy about the job. I'm happy for her too. It'll probably start in about 3 weeks. So it's wired on the edge, and that allows it to be, shaped. When you're ready to put them away, you can flatten them out, and they don't take up any space hardly. And then when you bring them back out, because of the wire, you can fluff them, poof them. That's what we call it. You can poof them out as big as you want. So you can make them without the wire, but they work really nice with the wire. So you start with the ribbon and leave the ribbon on the spool. You start with the ribbon wrong side up. If you have if your ribbon is double-sided, it doesn't matter. But if you have one-sided ribbon, you start with the wrong side up. You make a curl right here, and you make sure that it goes all the way around, and your thumb goes in there, and you make it just, pretty much the bigger the bow, the bigger this loop would be, but pretty much you want it to be fairly small, because that's where your wire is going through, and you don't really want it to show. So you do it just like that. Then with using your thumbs and your fingers, you crunch it together at the bottom, and you hold that with your thumb and one finger. So it looks like this. I'm just holding that, and it's scrunched together. Now, while you're holding it, this ribbon's upside down, so we have to turn it. You just take a hold of the ribbon real close, pinch it, and twist. And that twist should stay right under your thumb, so that now you see the ribbon right side up. Okay. So here we are. I'm holding this and your thumb will get tired. I'm holding this pretty close with my thumb. Now this is where you decide how big your bow is going to be. Now if you look at this one, you can see how big I made my first petals. I call them petals. So I'm going to make one, I think I'm going to make one a little smaller than this. And I'm going to make one that these petals are different lengths. The top ones are one length and the bottom ones are another. You can see right here. See, they're that much bigger. But I'm going to make this one I'm making now, I'm going to make them all the same. So it'll look more like a ball kind of bow. So I think I want my ribbon, my bow, to be about this big. So that's how big I'm going to make this petal. So you've got that twisted and you're holding on to it tight. You bring this down the size you want it to be. And if it helps, you can even fold it so it's not, poofy. Then you're going to, again, bring all this ribbon scrunched together. We're really scrunching a lot today. I should have called it the scrunch. The scrunch decorating. So I'm still holding on to this. Now, if you by chance let go of that, you just need to wrap it back in there and hold on to it tight. Now I'm going to make my ribbon the same size on the other side. So this and this, they're pretty close to the same. And I'm going to do the same thing. Pinch it together and twist it, because here I am again with the wrong side. So I'm going to twist it. Again, hold it really tight. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I have enough. On the other bow that I just showed, I have 6. I think I have 6 petals on each side. So, and I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. Pinch and twist. And it's going to start getting thick there in the middle, so you have to hold it really tight. And you want, every time you pinch it and twist it, you want to make sure that your edges stay on the edge. And what I mean by that, these edges, see how they're pretty much lined up? It's not like this isn't way turned over here like that. It's straight, so you see the edge where it should be. So you have to pay attention to that. I'm losing everything because I'm jerking around so much. And you just keep doing that. Now I'm making a smaller bow, so I'm not going to put 6. I think I'm just going to do 4. So here's my 4th one. Pinch and twist, and pinch and twist. Okay. Now I've got 4 petals on each side. Okay. Of course, when somebody's watching you do this, you get real fumbly. Yeah. So try to keep it straight, keep everything together. And when you get to this point, when you're done making petals, you put your wire through the middle here. Come on, wire. And it goes around. that center section where you've got all those twists stacked up. Well, you can tell I've been hulling pecans, and I am telling you what, my hands are so tired, my fingers. And I don't have a lot of strength in my hands anyway, and I've gotten this all in a mess. But you get the idea. So you take your wire and you make it as tight as you can before you twist it. Let me see how much of a mess I have here. Not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and cut this see, I haven't twisted my wire yet. I've just got it around there. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Get this out of my way. All right. So now, let me see if everything looks good. Looks pretty good. Your goal is to make your petals as even as you can from side to side, you know. And then you're going to take this and twist it as tight as you can. And you don't have to worry about squashing things. As long as they stay in place, they're fine. If they move out of place, then that can cause you a problem. But as long as they stay in place, they're fine. You can squash it all you want because it's easy to make it bigger. Okay, and then the last step is, now this one's not getting a tail. Let me put a tail on it. Just put a short one. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this ribbon, and I'm going to make a little dovetail, just like that. So here's what I've got. Find the center, pinch it up, and I usually twist it because it stays in place better. And then I'm just going to wire this at the back using my same wire. Normally I can do this all by hand, but like I said, my fingers are just out of it. I made pecan butter. So far with the pecans that I shelled, I made 2 cups of pecan butter. It turned out really good. Okay, so here we go. If you leave a little bit more wire, then you have something you can attach it with. This is really enough. So here we go. Here's what we got. See? So here's the side. You can see how the edges are all fairly to the edge. Here's the other side. Here's our curl in the middle. And now you just pull the heck out of it. You just take a hold of that petal, you hold the middle. Everything should be tight with the wire, and you just shape it however you want it. You pull these out real hard. Until they're where you want them. It might take a little bit of moving around till you get it the way you want it. And then you can floof them out some more once you get them in position. We're scrunching, floofing. we got all kinds of action words going on here today. And then make your center one so that it's kind of poofed out too. And then we have a pretty little bow. There we go. Let's see. See, this one's more of a size for this wreath. Now, is that pretty? Yay. Okay, that's all, I guess. And thank y'all for coming. And oh, you know, who's next? Oh, Diana's after me. So have a great holiday, and please visit Diana. And thank you, Meri, for hosting us. And I was happy to be here today. Bye-bye.